This DYM podcast is brought to you by LeaderTrex. Go to serve, return ready to lead. On a LeaderTrex mission trip, you'll serve and get out of your comfort zone. And through the program, your students will learn how to lead. They will bring that leadership and confidence back to your youth ministry, and it will make a difference for the rest of the year. Learn more and sign up at leadertrex.org. And since we love DYM, listeners always get 10% off resources by using the code DYM10 at leadertrex.org. That's DYM10 at leadertrex.org.
We are recording.
All right, here we go.
Don't Blackman, you're recording. Hey, don't Blackman.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Again. Take 3.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Download Youth Ministry Podcast. This is episode 321.
Or 22, or 23, or 24, or 25.
Oh, episode 321, attempt number 11. We have a long story of pain over the last 2 days. Yesterday we all met, which was a miracle that we could get together, and we could not record the show for many. It was demonic. It was we needed a lot of senior pastor love from Jason praying
and
for
an exorcism.
Well, our soundboard got stolen. Our producer Elliot was high. I mean, there was just a lot of stuff that went wrong.
Unreal.
And so
that could go wrong.
we said, is there any chance in the world we could meet again tomorrow? Because Katie's gone next week, and then Josh and I are gone the next week, and then Jason, he's always gone. I mean, so we said, let's meet tomorrow, and here we are.
Here we are.
We're able to pull it off, and now Josh is running it.
And it's working flawlessly.
So far, we've had 2 failed attempts, but we changed the camera.
Yeah, and we're changed everything.
We're going to go for it again. So here's the deal.
Right.
Let's just review what we've already talked about on the show that hasn't been recorded. People like the show. They download the show. We need them to write more reviews of the shows. We love Orange. They are our primary sponsor.
Thank you, Orange.
And theorangeconference.com. Theorangeconference.com.
Yes.
If you register by December 14th, you will save $70.
Yes.
We will all be there. We'll do a live show.
It's going to be the best week ever.
It's going to be great.
Do you ever accidentally delete like some homework and then you have to retype it in and it's never the same as the first time you typed it in?
I'm not feeling that though on this show. I feel like this is better than
Already better.
Yeah, this is already better.
But we've practiced it 5 times.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah, save it for the show, Katie.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we are in the show.
This is it. This is the show.
It's probably crashed again, but maybe.
Now, hey, over my shoulder, for those of you viewing, is we have our studentleadershipconference.com dates, July 9th through 11th in Granger, Indiana with LeaderTrex and Bethel College.
This is awesome.
Next level.
Yeah.
Big time. We're
Pretty
big
professional,
time.
guys.
Oh yeah. Be sure to check out LeaderTrex. They're one of our sponsors and our dear friends, and we're excited to do a Student Leadership Conference with them.
And our third and final sponsor
is Youth Ministry 360.
Yeah, just got to see them a couple weeks ago. They're great.
/DNow.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we're trying to make people aware of their sweet DNow retreats and content. They have 11 studies to choose from.
Customizable T-shirts.
Oh yeah, notebooks, devotionals, the whole bit. ym360.com /DNow. Hey, we haven't been together since DYM 100.
I know. It was so fun.
And for those that don't know, that's where 100 people, youth workers, come into town, and we spend 3 days together, and it's a lot of fun. And people love it. And this year we didn't want to turn people away, so we did 2 weeks.
Get tattoos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Well, I heard it was going to happen. It happened?
It
Yes.
happened. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 people.
It
last
was-
night.
Yeah, the first week the guys said they would and they didn't.
Well, we didn't have a tattoo person for them.
Okay.
So we actually got a tattoo person for the second week.
It
And
was-
3 people got
I've never seen
DYM
anything.
tattoos.
I was like, that's big. It was big, too.
Oh, I know.
One
Wasn't
guy
like a little.
added to his tattoo on his arm, and then one guy got a pretty good size one on his ribs. And
That's a
then
great place.
The last person got a very large DYM tattoo.
Thigh, like legit
On the thigh.
thigh.
So we thought we might change the logo, and now that it's permanently marked on their body.
Oh my god.
Katie, you have a few tattoos. Would you ever get a DYM tattoo?
No.
No, I wouldn't
I
let you,
love
Katie.
you.
What if-
and your company, but
What
no.
if we paid you?
No.
Free advertising.
No.
You would-
Be a
It
strong
would be
person.
a really high number.
Like $11.
Yeah. Close.
We'd have, as often as Katie shows skin, we would have to pay a lot.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, you didn't even see your wrists today.
No, I know. Well, it's cold. It's actually gloomy here.
Yeah, it's fall.
It's
is.
kind of
Fall
fall.
is
Yeah, I wore a sweatshirt
It's
today.
wonderful.
Hey, so may I say, the
Yeah.
DYM 100 was phenomenal.
Thank you.
And I was so, Katie, wasn't it great to be a part of it?
So
like,
fun.
you guys did an awesome job.
Yeah,
and Katie killed it.
seriously.
She did an amazing session. Everybody's
you.
raving about everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But
Lives have
it's
been
such a
changed.
special community. Like, just being able to be there and say hi to people and stuff. And you guys have something really special for the youth worker community. I love
Thanks, man.
what's happening. So
Why do you say you guys? You're a part of it.
I'm like,
No, people were geeking out that they got.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were.
No, they weren't.
Supertones
The
guy. I
drummer
heard
from
several
the
people say.
Supertones.
Oh, yeah.
That one guy from that band I listened to when I was 8.
Yeah.
They love.
Yeah. Josh back in.
Hey, don't. You're still way younger than me. I have people saying, "My youth pastor used to learn from you."
Isn't that a great
who's now the youth pastor?
Oh.
Yeah, he's now a senior pastor, or he died.
He died of old age.
Yeah.
But
His
he's
great grandpa.
Oh my gosh.
No, but it was awesome. I loved
Yeah,
it.
it was
I loved
amazing.
connecting with
One of
people.
the
You just
one of the
walk up to people and give
highlights.
them a hug, right?
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
One of the highlights for those that are keeping track of the podcast is we did live podcasts each week, and I think it was week 2 where Alex Gorod, is that how you say his name?
Sounds right.
Gorod? He wrote a wonderful letter. I just forwarded it to everybody on the DYM team. I need to forward it to you, or I'll give you this copy. And I read you yours already.
it was so
but he just wrote
sweet.
nice things about all the people. But here's the deal: he won the DYM 100 because he reviewed on iTunes. He reviewed about the podcast on the iTunes.
Oh, he selected one person to come
And
for
we
free,
selected him,
right?
and he got to come for free.
Oh, that's big.
And it just was a fun deal. And on the second week, we didn't do it the first week because of the hurricanes and all that. It messed up our shipping. But we had beach towels that we were giving everybody, DYM beach towels, and we didn't give it the first week. We gave it to the second week people. And he has sent pictures of him putting prayer requests on the beach towel, and then him laying on the beach towel,
Like JG.
like
Great.
Josh.
That's an old reference to an early show.
Early show.
Anyway.
Before me.
Yeah, you
I
are.
sometimes use the towel as a prayer shawl. It's really special. It's good.
Yeah.
No, that's the dude who drove 1,000 miles.
Yeah, he drove from Portland, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I met like 3 people from Houston, different
prayer
people,
shawl.
and they said that the DYM 100 conference was a total refuge to them, a total blessing. Like they
A
loved
prayer shawl, as it were.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Katie, I
I don't know why that was funny. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Dude, that was the funnest week
It was
of
so
the
fun.
year. It
Yeah.
was a blast.
Yeah.
So
Don't ever want to do 2 again, but it was awesome.
I would do 2
it
again.
was
Really?
fun. I think it was
I would
fun
just
to
have
stay
more.
at
I would not have things
Yeah.
booked right afterwards.
That's true, and they were similar, but they were different.
Yeah, that was fun. I thought.
Yeah.
Cool.
Favorite of the week 1 and week 2?
Oh, easily week 1.
Week
For
1?
sure.
I've had a blast at week 2. I mean, I loved week 1, but week 2 was
okay.
really fun.
What do you say?
Week 1, I was there for more of it, so I loved that.
Good call on that.
Yeah.
What would you say, Felix?
I liked them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think our podcast was really
I like both equally
was
because I don't do
lame.
that.
That's not what you said on tape 5.
That was lame.
I don't play those games where I try to pit people against
Oh,
other people.
gosh.
Oh my gosh.
And then what is
Hey,
this?
well, you guys, we saved some Jeff Selph, and Jeff Selph was at week
great guy.
2. Was he week
was
2?
week 2.
It feels like he was here the whole time.
He is like a party in a box.
He
that's
is.
for sure.
He is a party in a box.
What,
He's also coming to student leadership,
Oh,
and he's
nice.
already registered his kids.
StudentLeadershipConference.com.
Yeah, join us.
Ranger.
But he sent us all. He sent us all gifts, and I thought, let's open it on the show.
Did you guys get one?
Doug
We
and
already
Marty
got it.
opened ours, but
Yeah.
we want you guys to open
Okay.
yours on the show. Here we go.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah. And
What
for
could it be,
people that watch The Office, you know there's awards called the Dundies, and these are He's calling these the ditties, DYMEs or something like that.
DYMs are great.
Oh
Wait, what
my
does yours
gosh.
say?
It says, really great pastor who does not see herself as one award.
Oh, that's
good.
nice.
He's clever.
And I got the just barely youth pastor enough for the DYM 100 award.
He's super.
Jeff, thank you very much. Classic.
This is amazing.
Classic.
He's also the same guy, for those wondering, that has sent us the cup where he put his face on the cup.
Oh, yes.
Where it says, go Jeff yourself.
Yeah. He's a funny dude.
He is funny.
Jeff Selph. He is
Jeff.
unbelievable.
I will
And he's
carry
a-
this with me.
He is a good, he was,
Put it in your purse.
last year at Student Leadership Conference, we were hanging out talking, and we were talking about guns, because I don't own one, I'm not into them.
Yeah.
He is totally in, and he knows all the laws and the rules and what he would do.
Was he
if some-
carrying a gun?
No, he wasn't carrying a gun, but what he would do, like different terminology, and I'm just drilling him with questions, because that's not a world that I know, and like, when he brings it to youth group and at
No
the
way.
church and
So what, you don't
all
have a
kinds
gun?
No, I don't have a gun.
Do you just hate freedom and the Second Amendment, or what?
No, I just don't.
You
know what?
You got a gun?
No, I don't have a gun. I'm not even sure what is that. Is the Second
Like what?
Amendment? Is that the one about guns?
Yes.
Is that speech?
Right to bear arms.
That's the first one.
Yeah, right
The
there.
right to bear arms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason probably has a gun.
Katie's
I know.
Katie's married to a very strong Republican.
Well, and he would be a gun owner for sure. You guys have a gun safe.
We don't. We
You
have a
have a
lot of
pellet
weapons, but we don't have a gun.
We have a baseball bat
We
with
have a
nails sticking out
crossbow.
of
We
it.
have lots of blades and things like
Yeah, I
that.
enjoy cheap pocket knives.
Yeah,
do.
but we
You
don't
do?
have
I
a
do.
gun.
This is from Todd Handel. Todd Handel says, my name is Todd Handel. I'm a DYM Gold member, regular podcast listener, and just recently attended DYM 100 week 1. It was an amazing week. Apparently your favorite
Oh, the
week,
best.
Josh.
Yeah, I know you don't play those games, but I do.
I
Week
liked them
one's
both.
amazing.
I liked them both equally.
He restates it.
Like your kids, you love Tori, Cody, and Cassie equally.
No, I've got a favorite.
Yeah, we all know. We all know.
Who do you think it is?
Tori, 100%.
Tori? Tori?
Cody. I think you like your boy more than your girls.
You know what I think? But my choice, I'm a Cassie. I'm a Cassie person.
Yeah?
Cassie's number one in my heart.
Easy to
The
love.
other kids, I don't even remember their names. They're good kids.
Yeah.
Easy to love.
No, love them all the same.
I don't even remember their names.
Love them all the same.
He says,
Dad moment.
Todd Handel says, over the past 90 days, I've kind of been under the gun. Speaking of guns.
Fire away!
Oh, it's like perfect comedic timing, and you
Shoot.
didn't even know it.
We should start this over.
It's still recording, just so you know.
I
It's
know, we
all
gotta
working.
keep going just
Yeah.
in case.
This is the take
This
that's
is
actually
it.
working. What a
This
bummer.
is the take.
No, this is great. I've been under the gun with my performance here and have been under strict observation from my senior pastor and chair of staff parish. There's some things about my performance they were unhappy with, particularly relating to my ability to build strong relationships with some of the students. I was told I had 90 days to fix it. If I didn't, I would be terminated. Well, today is day 90, and I got the word that I'm staying on board, and they are proud of how I've handled everything over the past 90 days. However, I still have some parents who are unhappy with my work, and it seems no matter what I do, they will never be happy. It has left me feeling confused. I've been contemplating whether this is God speaking to me, telling me it's time to move on, but other times I feel God is telling me He is not done with me here yet. So what are your thoughts on what I should do? Any advice would be helpful. Thanks for what you do for youth workers to help them win. You are all the best.
Awesome.
Well,
Do you want to handle this?
No. Todd Handel?
and I wanted to kick back.
Well, someone pull the trigger on the answer here.
I'm out of
Go out with a bang.
I've got a bunch of bullet points.
All right, let's all just...
Allison's loving this right now.
All right, let's all just silence here for a second.
Okay. Why don't you shoot first?
All right, I'm just gonna have a short clip, and then we'll see what we can do.
Just use safety with yours.
You know what?
That's good.
I'm just gonna rifle through a few quick
Katie's trigger showing with her jokes.
Most divisive.
Okay, he just broke it with second using trigger twice, so we're done.
Yeah, okay, we're good. Twice. Thanks a lot.
I don't know if I heard it.
I would say this, my heart hurts already, because a 90-day probation,
Yeah.
that is like pit in your stomach kind of I immediately go to this is the beginning of the end. Like they're gonna get rid of me, and it's a 90-day softening period. So I'm not saying that's happening, but that's.
I don't think I've ever cried of laughter on the podcast before.
Seriously, I must be really tight.
Thank you so much.
Right? That was tears. True tears.
Thank you.
It's fine. You look
So anyhow, that's where my heart goes. I know how that feels. I don't like how that feels. Even the 90-day probation, that feels so heavy and so strong.
It is.
It doesn't feel coaching. I don't know. I feel like
I disagree with that. I actually think how nice to be at a church that is going to give you time to improve and change.
Okay.
So often we hear of people who are just blindsided and let go and are not given the opportunity. So, we all know there's two sides to every story. And so, we always side with the youth worker because that's just who we are and what we do and who our heart is. But I like that, I think of all the years I worked in the church, I would have liked reviews.
But I think 90 days, and hey, if it doesn't work out, we'll think about some next steps, or rather than.
Well, we don't know what
we don't 90 days until you're terminated.
Well, we don't know what review this was. This might be the third time that they've had this discussion.
But he stayed on. He proved himself.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that Todd manned up and went for it.
Yeah.
Fixed whatever needed to be fixed.
It's good.
Because if they had that hard conversation with them and they kept him, it obviously means he was teachable and listened.
Yeah.
I'm proud of Todd. That's great.
No, I love that too. I think when he says some parents are going to be unhappy with my work and it seems no matter what I do, they will never be happy. That is going to be at any church you go to.
Yeah.
Nobody, if you're a leader, not everybody's going to like you. You're always going to be second guessed. People can do it better. They don't like your decisions. I mean, that's just part of leadership. That's I would say that's one of the things we have to holster.
Oh, shoot.
That was good.
Sorry.
That was good. That was a good one.
I broke my own rule there.
I was gonna say, you can't stop the game.
No, I know. I was going to say shoulder, and then that's one of the things we have to shoulder, and then I just went to holster.
Holster, there it is.
Well, I want to encourage Todd too, because the fact that he's saying right now he doesn't feel like he can win, like there's going to be parents that I'll say this: the negative noise is always louder. And the fact that if he's faithful in doing what God's called him to do and already being teachable and making changes, there's going to be parents that are happy with what he does. And he's doing ministry. And when if you're pleasing the Lord in what you're doing, if you have a few haters, you have to say like, oh well. But the people that he's ministering to and pouring his life into, I think he's doing kingdom work.
Anybody listening, you're always going to have critics. If you don't have any critics or people who are not happy with you, I wonder if you're even doing anything.
Right. Yeah.
You may not know of all your critics, but they're gonna be there. I actually am thinking in this moment, what I'd do if I was coaching Todd, I'd say, Todd, go back to your pastor and that parish committee or the chair and thank them. Thank them for being honest. Thank you for not blindsiding me. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to change. I would always like to keep short accounts. If you see things in my character and my leadership, would you let me know so that I can address those? I don't have it all together, but I love doing ministry here. That
would go far.
I just think that's a move that has some integrity if you really believe that.
Yeah. I think I would still rather have coaching than an ultimatum. And maybe it was more coaching and it just sounded ultimatum-ish to me.
Yeah.
But I would
time frame probably.
Yeah, I would say, please, I welcome coaching in my life. Like I would even guide them a little bit on how you work best, because there is some amount of defeated youth worker in this email. And I think part of that is the timeline, the ultimatum, all that business. So, yeah.
Don't you feel that so in ministry, there's so many people out there, like, have you guys had the conversations? I've had so many more. They say, there's this guy at my church that I work with, or girl, and they are not responding, and they'll never change. They're set in their ways. And so you hear these stories until they're fired, right? Because they don't want to confront them or coach them. So I see so much value. I'm a huge believer. I've always said this, that if someone's in jeopardy, you got to give them that final warning. So I kind of saw that as a final warning, as like hey, I don't know if they've talked with Todd before or not, but just say we're this serious about it. If you can't change here, then you're missing our values, and I just appreciate that. I think people deserve human dignity to say, like, before you're let go, I want to give you one more chance. We want to keep you here, but this has got to change.
Yeah. I think he says, when I've been contemplating whether this is God speaking to me, I think that's what the body of Christ is. The Holy Spirit in Katie has wisdom that could help me see something that I don't see in myself or in my leadership or in my approach or whatever it is. And but time to telling me to move on. I mean, to me, even though I'm very affirming of this whole process, that would make me think about moving on.
Me too.
Just like, oh gosh, that's. But again, we don't know the front side of the story too.
Sure, they're
Totally.
obviously.
Well, the short answer though is God is speaking to you, and you're learning and growing, and He is moving. Maybe not you out of that ministry, but He's moving in your heart, and you're growing.
Yeah.
So be faithful until it is time to go.
Katie, have you done?
Bless you.
Sorry.
Shotgun
No,
all over.
I'm not.
Do you have you ever done this with one of your team members? Have you ever given them a date to change by or to see improvement by?
I think the timeline creates fear. So I'm really cautious about that. I mean, but I do think you have to give some sort of time frame,
Yeah,
you know.
a range.
So I've had one that, I kind of quarterly walked
Josh.
with. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, I
Don't say
had one person, but yeah, I mean, I think correction is such a part of leadership, and I do evaluations with all my team fairly regularly, probably once a quarter, just because I like to be reassured and know that I'm on track and know that I'm aligning and walking in the direction of the vision that's been given to me. So I want to do that for my team too. And so it's pretty easy to know when people aren't aligned with that, and but yeah, I've had one.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, just only you are going to answer this one, Katie. This is from Ben Harris from Rolla, Missouri, and longtime DYMer, had a blast at the first DYM last year, exciting things happening, blah, 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 blah. He gets to hire a second person. Okay, now this is not the majority of our audience here, so we're going to give one short answer and move on, but you have multiple staff, you've hired a bunch of people, the whole bit. My question is, what are some ways that I can help him succeed in this position? And I just thought I pulled this one out because you had just talked about quarterly reviews, wanting to make sure we're on the same page, the whole bit.
Yeah. How? So he's already hired the person?
They've hired the person. He's going to do junior high. Ben is going to do high school, but he says even though we have different job titles, my hope is we'd be a good team for both groups and able to reach new kids in our community together. I'm pumped and excited, want to help him succeed and grow and help the students trust him. So how do we...
That's exciting.
Yeah, what are some ways I can help him succeed?
I think really quick, a couple things with team. I think spend time understanding how he's wired, what his gifts are and strengths, where his weaknesses are and where his areas of growth are, which I think are two different things. Weakness are maybe things that he's just not good at and never going to be good at, and so that would be a place to encourage him to build team around himself, and then help him identify what are areas of growth that you can then help him grow in over time, things that you see potential in. So I think really having a great understanding of who he is and how he's wired, and then communicate that about yourself to him so that he understands who you are and how you're wired. I think the more connected we are, the more effective we are as teams. So how we understand each other and our strengths and where we kind of pour gasoline on each other's fire and that kind of thing, I think is really important. So I think really spend time understanding each other. And once you do that, I feel like then you know how to build team around you both. And kind of your, again, your weaknesses and areas of growth. And then, that's kind of a cool place to start, I think, with team.
Yeah.
And I think you find success in really helping people be the best versions of themselves. And leading someone else requires you to be selfless, but it also requires you to be a leader, and helping them to achieve and succeed too. So
What about a cheerleader?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, encouragement. I think that comes with understanding how people are wired. So when you understand how he's wired, what's his love language? What's his encouragement language? How does he receive praise and those types of things? Really understanding those about someone, I think, is key in leading them too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's good. Well, and how fun that Ben gets to hire somebody.
I
Congratulations.
know.
That's great.
Having a team is a real blessing.
Okay, Josh, you're the best at this, so here we go.
Oh boy. Loaded question.
Nope. Thanks. This is from Carter Baldwin. Thanks for having me at DYM Week 1. That was apparently your
best
favorite.
week. By far my favorite.
It was an amazing few days that have positively affected our ministry that I lead in huge ways. Katie's session on volunteer care specifically was transformative. I have a question on hosting events. I was very impressed at Doug and Josh's hosting skills at DYM 100, and I realized this is an area I need to improve on. Obviously, two of you have a lot of experience both individually and together, which helps you on stage and your chemistry, but I was wondering what tips you would give on effectively hosting larger youth events from 50 to 100 plus kids from stage, things like games, welcome announcements, etc. What are your hosting? You are great. You're amazing.
Best in the business, JG.
Thank you.
I think so too.
A very affirming moment right now.
I just was with Josh last week in Richmond, Virginia, and in Pittsburgh, where he was the host of the Orange Tour.
Orange Tour.
And he was
Thank you to our sponsors.
fabulous. Just fabulous.
So
It was
you
really
are
fun.
so
Thank
good.
you.
Life of the party.
Well, that's a good. I'm very kind even about the chemistry too that we have together. I do think friendship, camaraderie, and experience. In fact, all of us have been on stage together at some point in different interactions. I do think just some experience and some time together makes a big difference. I think it is harder work than people realize. Like some people just walk up there but I usually do quite a bit of work ahead of time. If I'm hosting a game, which is one of my favorite things to do, I try to legitimately know the questions, the answers, be thinking through some bits ahead of time. Part of it is ad-lib. There's nothing better than ad-libbing on stage, making it up as you go. That is really fun. Not for everybody, but for me it is.
Not for everyone, yeah.
And then the other part of it is too, I think you got to know your in and out. Know the first thing you're going to say when you get on stage and know what's after you. So it's a cardinal sin if you have like a card up there and you're cheating and you're trying to be prepped. So memorize what's coming up, what's before. Know your first words you're going to say. Know the last things you're going to say. It will help you a ton. What are you guys giggling about over there?
You said I can think of nothing better than leading a game or something like that, and I just leaned over and said I can think of things better.
Oh yeah. Like what?
The Milky Way I ate right before you.
No, I do like Milky Way a lot. Yeah, so I think most people get up there and then they're like, okay, what's next? What are we? We're going to a video, and then the video plays, and you can sneak off stage. Well, know what it is and have that transition plan ready. You'll look and you'll feel so much more confident on stage. One other little tip, I think, especially if you're co-hosting a game. So let's say, Katie, you and I are running the game together. I would say one of you has to be the play-by-play.
Yes.
The voice, the commentator, all that. And then someone else is the color commentary. So it's a sports announcer analogy. But there's someone who's driving the game and knows what's next and pushing for questions. And there's someone who's throwing in funny bits and little observations and ideas. If you're both calling the play-by-play, it's not going to work. If you're both color commentary, it's not going to work. I think you need to have
defined roles.
So have defined roles. And I'm not saying I have to be one or the other. I think it's fun to play different roles on stage. But somebody has to lead and somebody has to follow, and so there's a little dance that you have to do on stage. So co-hosting is tricky,
Those are
but it
good
also
tips.
pays off the best.
Those are good
Yeah,
tips.
I think ultimately it comes down to your audience has to feel like you like them and want them there and want them to win.
Yeah.
That it's just not you being up there trying to be fun. Like, you're just so likable, Josh, and everybody sitting there goes, "Oh, I'm not threatened by him."
I'm Josh's best friend.
Yeah, and he's likable, and I like to listen. I mean, that's just part of communication. That's
So schmooze is what I'm hearing.
no, there's a likability
like
factor.
more
Like
cool.
that 7th grade boy needs to know that you're not going to put him on the spot and embarrass him.
He does. He needs to know that.
And just you're for when you're leading a game or giving announcements
You're
or
for
whatever.
the crowd.
You want that crowd to win. You're thrilled that they're there, and they sense that from you. And
That's
that,
very nice.
yeah.
Wow.
And it's
That's a
not
good way
just
to
a matter
put
of.
that. That's a good way
Well,
to
it's
put
not.
that
There's a
for
lot
the
of people
crowd.
that are good in front of people, but they don't. They're not
They're not bringing people into the
I can
fence.
remember when Eddie James, who's now the famous skit guy, and he's on stage more than all of us put together, and he's amazing. I can remember when he was an intern, and we were running multiple services during the week, and our last service was a smaller service, so the energy was. We had already experienced the energy at, like, say, the 9 o'clock service, and now we're at the 11 o'clock service. Now we're at the 11 o'clock service, and, Eddie's just tired. I remember one time him standing on stage with a bagel, and he's just like, okay, and now we got Habib and the band. And it was like, just like, oh, you guys. But, he was also 21 years old at the time. And
we did in Supertones, quick Supertone story. When we played for a small, weak crowd, we took it on ourselves as a total challenge to say, let's put on the best show of our lives. And so we would give everything, and it turned out to be some of the funnest shows. Yeah. So I think sometimes when you have a dead room, that challenge of saying how can I bring the energy, and how can I just make this the honest place to be?
Would you say to the crowd, hey, you guys are weak tonight?
No, never say that.
Never say it. That's a good
Never say, you guys look tired today.
Man, the energy is low tonight. Oh, don't tell them.
Don't ever say
fix that. It's on you.
No.
My wife hates, when we were sitting in church, because sometimes we'll go to a church service, and I'll just keep it neutral, where the pastor kind of gets on the crowd a little bit, oh, you guys didn't get that. Oh, you guys are weak today.
Brutal.
You guys,
you're not singing very loud, man.
And Ken's like, oh, you gotta just
No, I don't like
blame
that.
me.
Yeah. Don't. They know.
Don't do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe you're just not funny.
Right. Maybe the joke wasn't told well.
Oh, dagger.
Here is our last question, because we're doing 2 shorter shows today based on our technical difficulties.
So far, so good.
Yeah, last question.
So good.
It already stopped.
DYM podcast. At what point do you ask a student not to return to your student ministry?
Wow.
We've talked about this, but it's been years ago, I feel like. He said, we've had several boys who have been disrespectful to our leaders and disruptive in our worship team and small groups in the past 2 years. They take correction, and then a few weeks later, they're back to the same problems. Things came to a head last week when one of them decided to start a fist fight with another student playing basketball. The situation was quickly broken up, but when is enough enough? These boys were invited by friends. Their parents are more than happy to drop them off, but they've never attended one of our church services. Thanks for all you do. I was able to attend DYM 100 week 2, the fun week, and it was the boost I needed. This is from James Mitchell from Duncan, Oklahoma.
Awesome. I love it.
Duncan, Oklahoma.
When is enough enough?
Oh, I would say just be long-suffering. Here's my heart on it, and you guys feel free to say the opposite.
I will.
But my father-in-law should have been kicked out of camp. He did some things at summer camp that he should have been sent home. And a day later at camp, heart completely and totally transformed, became a follower of Jesus, life changed, course of his life changed. And so if he'd been sent home, and he probably deserved it and all that, that story could have had a very different ending to it.
Because the Holy Spirit can't work when you're not at camp.
God is only sovereign for those 5 days. I get it. So anyhow, I would just say that has been burned into my heart as be long-suffering and be slow to, especially the final. This sounds like you're not welcome here anymore.
Yeah.
I take a week off. I come back after the end of summer. I like those way more than you're done here.
Yeah, I think there's a difference, though, between camp and a weekly program.
Okay, I can see that.
So I hear what you're saying on camp. I'm tracking with you. But a weekly program, I mean, I've said this so many times here. I don't think you let one kid ruin it for a bunch of adults and other kids.
Right.
Doesn't mean we stop ministering to that kid. It doesn't mean we love him any less. We just have to figure out how we're going to work with that problem. That kid who's creating problems. Mm-hmm. How do we work with him in a way that's dignifying, that's big picture helpful? I think it'd be okay to say, hey, you know what? For the next 2 Wednesday nights, Jason is not going to show up to Wednesday night either, and he's gonna take you out to dinner. We're gonna give you a little bit of a timeout from Wednesday night, but Jason said he'd buy you dinner, and he wants to go. So I'm coming to Jason as one of my volunteers and saying, Jason, would you be gracious enough to miss 2 Wednesday nights? To
pastor this kid.
And you can get rid of a bad leader at the same time.
Yeah, in this example.
Yeah, that's right.
You're killing 2 birds with one stone. That's
then
right.
you just 2 weeks later you move to another location.
Where's that youth group going? I don't hear anymore.
Oh, I'll speak into this. The thing about, and I have no idea about James's church in Oklahoma, but the way I'm reading this, I started my youth group with 11 kids. And so I think by the sound of what James just said, it might be a smaller youth group. I don't know, but it's not Saddleback. Like I love Saddleback, and I see 1,000 kids in there gathering, and it's amazing, and there's energy. But when I had 11 or 20 or 30 kids in a room, and there's 2 kids ruining it for the whole thing, like it's a whole different level of discipline. Like it's not just like this big group that we trying to reach out to non-believers and have like draw a crowd. It's more like, oh wow, your whole night's shot, and you can't even. I mean, you're fighting, and all the kids are looking to these 2 kids. Like the whole room is looking to these 2 kids, and so we would do that. We would take them out into the lobby. We would say, hey, listen, I need your heart in this. Can you be a leader, or are you going to pull people away? And if you're going to be a leader, I want you to get back in there. God could use you, give them some vision for that. But if they're going to continue to distract or multiple warnings, we've told kids, take a month off. We've had to talk to the parents about that. I love the idea about sending someone out with them for dinner. That's amazing, but I wish I thought of that one. Yeah. It's like, you're ostracized. Should have been listening to the show. Yeah. But yeah, I think letting kids know that, like, here's what we're doing here, and we'd love to have you inside of it. So come on in, or you can't.
Yeah.
What I love is that you guys are all just talking about different approaches, and I think that when you hit these scenarios where you're like, we've tried this and it hasn't worked, then how can you just keep trying? And it might be months off, it might be mentorship, it might, I think your willingness to keep trying is what, is where the heart is of sheep and discipleship and all of those good things. And I know this is going to sound so cliche, but just even rallying your leaders in prayer around these kids. I mean, I just feel like I've seen revival in kids' hearts who you're like, I cannot believe you love Jesus, but it has come from just really specific, prayer time and focused prayer time for those specific kids. So even bringing your leaders into a prayer process for them specifically, and then, to just keep trying. And trying doesn't mean keeping them in the 4 walls every Wednesday night. It just means that you're continuing to go after those sheep in all different kinds of ways. So
it's good. It's good. I love it.
That's a great answer, Katie.
Hey, here we are. Show 321. It's going to be, for me, the first show that I actually shed tears with laughter.
Yes.
Good one. But also, hey, send your questions to podcast at downloadyouthministry.com. That's what I just said. If you have any questions about DYM or about products or about the membership,
Student Leadership Conference, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Send them in there as well, because I started to think we have so many things on the site right now.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Is it overwhelming though? Because there's so much now.
Today I was using it. I used it for 3 different things today. I was searching because we were planning our weekends for the next few months, and it's just such a great starting point for like sparking ideas, and then you just kind of jump to stuff. I love that there's so much variety and so much new stuff all the time. It's awesome.
I know.
It's so fun.
Yeah, you just finished editing products for this week.
I'm a very grateful youth pastor.
No, I have 19, and I'm done with about 14 of them so far.
That's awesome.
It's a lot every week. We're cranking out. We're cranking out a lot every week.
Doug, let me ask you a question. Why wouldn't you become a member?
I don't know. Because you don't know about it. It's like
that's terrible. Yeah. That's terrible. But now you know, because we just said it.
Yeah,
that's right.
Tell your friends.
Katie Edwards uses it.
Okay, we're gonna record 322 next.
Ready? Right now.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I gotta pee really.